Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys, and we are back for the 14th episode of the DNAnime Podcast. It is me, Beautiful Crow, here with my co-host Vic Seal, and we are here. I know you guys see this on the screen. It looks a little bit different if you guys are watching the video podcast. In the audio realm, nothing will be different at all. You guys got to use your ears. The theater of the mind is what we're providing you here on the DNAnime Podcast. I hope you guys are excited. But today is a fun, special, ultimate episode of DNAnime Podcast. Yeah, it's all that stuff. It's like a super move. But we're doing a tier list episode where we're going to be breaking down our personal feelings about the current season of anime and where we will rank these bad boys. So if you guys are listening to the audio podcast, we will be saying which tier we'll be putting all the anime in, as well as, being very descriptive to keep you guys up to date. But if you guys are watching the video podcast on YouTube and or on Twitch, then you guys will be able to see all the fun bits of us dragging a square into like another square. That's all. People love tier lists, right, Vix? Right?
Yeah, that's the best part. It goes in the square hole. Everybody loves a good tier list around here. And this one, we got anime in it. So if you're listening, you already like anime, you like putting squares into square holes. That's what we're here for. We're going to have good in-depth discussion. We're going to chit-chat with live here on Twitch. And we're going to talk about, with our chats, how everybody feels about the current episodes of anime or this season of anime that they have all seen. I'm sure that Twitch chat won't let me down. Everybody in chat has all seen every single episode of anime this season. Not a single one has slipped through their fingers. So we're going to get some good in-depth reviews on all this stuff. Naturally, I don't have that much time, so I've only done what me and Crow have watched. So we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna get into the depth discussion. Shut down.
See, I got mine off before the podcast started.
It was my turn. I was good all the way up until right now. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if there's an anime that we haven't watched that you guys think deserves to be on this tier list, that deserves to watch it, we just missed out on the season, you can let us know in the comments below under the YouTube video in your review on audio podcasts and services. If your ass are hitting the subscribe button on YouTube or giving us a 5-star ranking on your audio podcast services of your choice, what are you doing? We're the best podcast out there. You guys think you've been listening to anime podcasts. You just been listening to people saying words. This is the best anime podcast known to man. So go support your boys. Hit us with a like, follow, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and come and join the discussion as we get ready to talk about some of the best anime of this season. So, Vix, do you just want to start off with the first one?
Yeah,
do you just want to get everything out there? We need a controversial pick. And put it in the F tier like immediately, man. We got to drive engagement. We need these scumbags. Like I said, we the best anime podcast.
There's one on here that might be controversial to some people, but I think us here on this podcast will be probably okay with it. But that's not the one we're gonna start with.
I was getting scared. I was like, you scared me, man. I was joking.
We're gonna start with one that caught me off guard. It looked very cleanly animated. The name of it is, let me look at this. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. That one, long name, thought it was going to be kind of dumb. The main character is like 5 years old or some shit. Standard isekai. And it interested me because he wasn't like overpowered. So usually, isekais come in, they have like the strongest or the most unique aspect for magic. His only magic is being able to see the skills as numerical value of the people that he's like looking at. And it's not even clear. A lot of it is vague. So he's seen a couple people with like the numerical value of ambition, and it'll be like 98 out of 101 or something. And so basically the idea is that he uses this ability to gather retainers for his future takeover of like his domain, since his father is the current lord of this like subdomain, and he'll take over when his father dies. Minor spoiler, is like 6 episodes in, he got sick, and so the main character's name is Ars. He has started to fill those shoes, so he's started to do the takeover. He's finding a lot of his retainers like from the slums. So there was a hint at racism.
Yeah, my favorite.
The standard. There's like a whole race where they're just, because they're that race, they were just thrown to the dirt immediately just because they're that race. And then he saw the numerical value of his skill, got him added to his like retainership, but he didn't just get to do it because he was the prince. This is kind of the cool thing that made it like interesting, is that his father is actually a good and reasonable lord of the domain. He looked at this guy and was like, how dare you bring him in here? You know what they are. And then he was like, Father, you have to listen to me. He has potential. He can be a very powerful retainer. He has value to our cause. And he was like, instead of being like, no, get this fucker out of here, he was like, prove it. And he let him fight him. And then when he like showed his combat worthiness, he immediately was like, good enough, welcome in. And he just was like that. And he did that a couple of times where it was someone was from the slums and you're like, why did you bring him here? And then he showed him the value that they provided. And then he was like, I understand this is going to be your essentially cabinet for when you take over. So I'm going to let you build your cabinet. And so that's kind of what he's been working towards. And he was like a very harsh, I guess, father, but definitely a good father. If I had seen this a little bit before the Father's Day episode, I probably would have put him on like one of my best dads. But
really?
He was really good because the main character, you know, he comes from like Earth or whatever. There's no like fantasy or anything crazy, no magic. So he's trying to like step up since his father's getting sick. And then they actually showcase like the realism in war. So he's trying to go to war for his dad because his dad is sick. So he tries to pull a Mulan and he's like, all right, I'm going to go in his place. And then his father comes out sick as a dog. And he's like, I understand what you're trying to do, but this is not going to work. And then he like tried to combat him. And he's like, this is not a slight at your character in any way, but you cannot do this. And then he was like, look, I am going to execute a man right here. And they pull the prisoner out and they're like, he's like, if you can look at this execution and not react, then you can go. And then they execute him right in front of him. Like they just behead him right there. And like, he's a kid and he's also like a person in the real world. So he ends up just like keeling over and he just like throws up and whatever. Like and even then his dad is like, that's a normal reaction. He's like, don't feel ashamed that you couldn't stare at a person being killed normally for the first time. Like that's a normal thing that normal people do. So he was like, he's like, bring out the next guy. Like, he's like, just recover, like take this time. I'm going out to war. And his like retainer group went out with his father, and then they were all experienced in war, so they all went. And then he stayed back, and then he like, you know, he had survivor's guilt or whatever, but his dad didn't die there. So he just had like a sense of weakness, so he ended up training really hard after that, even though he was only like 6. But his dad was really good. Character was really interesting. All of the side characters are very good. Nobody has gotten freaking weird yet. Nobody's
done anything
can I talk a little bit? 6-year-old.
Yeah, because that was my main thing. Because, you know, not to be too funny about it, but I saw that the anime got announced for this season. Because, again, you know, we talked about all the anime that was coming out. And I know a lot of people had a lot of opinions about this anime. And I was like, okay, so it's another isekai. So, you know, I expect all the normal isekai things. And then I saw the art, and I was like, oh, this dude's like a child. And I was like, why is he wearing booty shorts? And then I was just like, all right, this shit gonna get weird. Like, that was my biggest concern.
You're probably thinking of the other one, the 7th.
Oh, Prince. So this is another
one? There's a second one with a small child, and he is OP as fuck.
Okay, so
if
so this isn't that
one
anime.
With the green overalls?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other one. This is a different one.
That's the other one. Okay, because I was like, so I'm thinking the wrong anime. Okay, perfect. But that one I was worried about. But okay, this one sounds cool.
Actually, that one's, you know, it's on the list. I got some things to say about that one too.
Okay, I'm excited because that was the one I was most worried about. And I thought when you were describing this anime, I was like, oh, it sounds way more interesting than I thought it was going to be from what I've seen.
Definitely interesting. Like if you have time, if you need to catch up on something this season, this is definitely a good one to pick up. There's not a lot of combat, but the combat that is in there is pretty smooth. Most of it is like off screen because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
But the basically the main combat part is his first retainer is basically a bodyguard, and he kind of defends him a lot, and that's like the most combat you see is basically got bodyguard stuff, but that's really not what it's about. The closest thing to weird about this is the main character is betrothed to somebody, but she is not weird. She's not weird about it. She's a very intelligent young child, and that is like her deal. And then like he doesn't do anything super weird about it. He mentions that it is weird because he's being like married.
Arranged marriage.
Yeah, he's having an arranged marriage. So he says it's weird, but nobody does anything weird. There's one moment that like it's kind of maybe a little weird, like if you look at it hard enough, but it ends up being like a more wholesome because the intent behind it was like, I want to understand you more, as opposed to I want to get in your pants as a 7-year-old. So it was very wholesome. It started leading down a weird path, and then you're like, and then they're like, you know what? Nope, we're good. We're still good. We're still good.
Like, what are they doing? Testing the waters? Like, what the fuck?
So this one was definitely good. If I had to give this one a rating, I would put this probably at A tier. I think this was very good. This was one of the ones that was like, when it came out, I was like, oh boy, I can't wait to watch this episode.
Okay,
so that was definitely one that I would put up there. Chat, if you have seen this show, what do you guys think? Has anybody in chat seen this show?
I honestly forgot that this show came out this season. Like,
couldn't find it at first. It came out like 2 weeks late. And I was like, because I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, yo, that looks pretty interesting. I'll give it a shot. And when the season started, I couldn't find it. And then I started seeing clips of it, and I was like, wait, where is this? So I had to like look it up, and it did just come out late on Crunchyroll. So and I was like, oh shit, now I gotta go back and watch it. So then I added it to the list and started watching it, and I was like, yes, I knew it. Something about the way that it was structured just felt like it was gonna be good. We're getting chat saying it's A as well.
There we go.
That's good.
Consensus.
Yeah, consensus. Definitely a really solid one.
I did not expect that. Again, I saw the long ass title, and I saw it was the isekai, and I'm just like, okay, it's gonna be like normal isekai fare. I'm not like rushing. I'm not batting down the hatches and beating down doors to go watch this.
Yeah,
but if it's good, I'll damn sure check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing that like changes the genre or anything. Like you're not gonna be fucking blown away. It's not gonna like knock your socks off or anything. Yeah. It's definitely good. Like if you got time and you're like, man, what should I watch from this season? This one's good. There's no I have no like real issue with it. That's kind of like the main thing. Like the animation is clean like 95% of the time. I think there's a couple times where it dips down a little bit. The story makes sense. The people in it seem very human. They're very like realistic. The dad's not a freaking dick. At least not in a way that it's like, man, get out of here kind of dick. He's I want to be your dad the best I can, but I am still the lord of this domain kind of deal. And I think he balances it pretty well. And he actually mentions like later, he ends up talking to the fiance, and he is like, I'm glad that you're the one that we selected, because it was like they got to have a chat, and they're like, you are a good match for what I believe my son needs. So he underneath all of his hard skin or whatever, he was still doing his best to be a loving father, even
looking out for his baby boy.
Even if it was not like the best, like executing somebody in front of your son is probably a little extreme.
It's medieval times.
Was a little extreme though. Like even like that was a pretty drastic way to take it, but it was very necessary, because he could tell that at the time, since he was sick, he was like, my son is going to go whether I say it or not. I have to make him not go. And that was like, although extreme, the most necessary thing to do at that moment. And even all the retainers that were there, they all got to see it too, and they saw ours react to it. And he was very, very reactive to the execution. So it was good that not even the retainers had anything to say about it. They were like, this is a normal reaction. This is what people do. And they were like, I can't say because they're the three people that he has as retainers at the time. They're very protective of him because they're essentially they were out on the streets, they were homeless, some form of slave, orphanage, or whatever, and so they were very protective of anything that could potentially hurt him. And then when his father did this, even they were like, "That's kind of how it is." Like
and I like that. I like that.
War, you can't pull punches here.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like. Because again, it should be a culture shock. Coming from the normal world, like you don't have to deal with war on that scale unless you like signed up for the military, right? But that's like a common occurrence back in the medieval times. Like people will attack people, people will die, and kingdoms will go to war.
A turf struggle. There was a succession struggle. What it was.
Yeah. So it's just like he needed to show him like the harsh realities of things he's going to see, especially if he's going to be,
and he says
leading.
That too, and he's like, "This is what you'll have to experience when I'm gone, but you don't have to do it now."
Yeah, and I honestly like again, I it's fucked up, that a child had to see that.
He's 7, he's obviously traumatized. So
yeah, but to get him prepared, especially as a parent, and knowing that you're not going to be there for that to be able to protect them, you got to get them ready for it. Because at the end of the day, shit's going to get way worse when there's people who not going to give a fuck about your son there to pretty much be looking out for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually like that.
Is actually the rest of it was good, but the dad really made it like seal the deal. Like he was definitely a character that you liked. You wanted more of him. He was very interesting as a father. Like he did have great support for his son. All around good. No notes.
It sounds like a fucking A to me. So I'm going to probably try to catch up on some of that these upcoming weeks. Again, I haven't watched a lot from the season. I was doing a lot of catching up of anime that people recommended to me from the podcast, from the Discord, from the different places. So I've been slowly but surely catching up on those while keeping abreast of most of the top tier stuff. And I apparently missed out on what's the goddamn title? Aristocrat Isekai. That's what I'm just gonna say. Aristocrat Isekai.
Which aristocrat?
I just want to know when he looked at the slave people, did he see like strong back, 99 out of 100? Like, what was their stats?
Yeah, he can see their names too, and he ends up accidentally revealing essentially a ninja. It says the ninja's like real name. And he's
shit!
How do you fucking know that name?
Oh no! I mean, that could work out. Be like, oh yeah, I got spies everywhere. I know who you are. Or you murdered.
Yeah. So like that, in a sense, it could save him in a way. But the time he used it is just like, oh, it was a good thing.
Oops.
Everybody else with him was very smart.
Well, that's fucking sick. But all right. No, I was like, what's going on? Attack.
Keeps like staring at me and he's like, meow. There, all right.
He wants to, again, we got our cat co-host. What's your cat's name?
This is Andrew.
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 Is that the normalest name?
Yeah. Cat co-host, but meow tier Andrew. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one. The last one, we're gonna say it again. That one, aristocrat, reincarnated, A tier. Next one, I'm sure everyone has at least some inkling about what this is. Demon Slayer's Hashira training arc is next up on the chopping block, on the tier list.
All right.
I know you've seen this one. I'll give you a chance to chit chat about it. What you got?
Yeah. I got some opinions. I got some words I got to say about Demon Slayer. Is this technically season 4? It's hard to tell with the movies and everything.
Yeah, it's season 4 because there was the final selection, and then it was Entertainment District, then there was the Swordsmith arc, and now Hashira training arc.
So do they not count Mugen Train as a season, even though it came out as a season?
Mugen Train came out as a movie, and then
but then they also released it as a season.
Yeah, it started the season, but it was also the start of.
You're right.
District.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, season 4 of Demon Slayer, the Hashira training arc, which I am extremely excited for, because one of the things I really like about the season of Demon Slayer, and I know I might not be the most popular of opinions, But I like this kind of chill. Like, I legitimately like that. You know, we get some cool action scenes, obviously in typical Demon Slayer fashion. Ufotable is doing an amazing job animating this season of Demon Slayer. It's kind of insane how much the skill of the studio improves over the seasons. Because I went back and started watching some of the first season episodes. And I was just like, I remember thinking that Demon Slayer looked beautiful. But looking at the first episode of the first season and the most recent episode of season 4 of Demon Slayer, it's like night and day. It's crazy. Like, Tanjiro looks he doesn't look completely different, like, obviously.
They structured him different because he fought 2 upper moons. Do you think dude's not going to be buff?
Well, the buff, okay, so the buff thing ain't really what I'm talking about.
He's just like ripped as fuck.
But he fucking jacked, dude. He fucking jacked.
He got to keep his like child face. So.
Yeah, he's just a little baby boy. But no, like seeing Demon Slayer come back. Demon Slayer has been one of my favorite anime whenever it's dropping in that season. I always keep up with Demon Slayer. The fight scenes, the action, the characters, the empathy. Again, I talk about it all the time. I just really, really love Demon Slayer. It's so much fun. It's a nice summer blockbuster popcorn anime. I know that might not be for everybody, but I fucking love it. The fact that we're getting this season where Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and pretty much the entirety of the Demon Slayer core is training together with the Hashiras in order to get stronger for the storm that is a coming.
I like that. You know what I mean? Like training, because a lot of shows will just like jump to the end and then you'll get some BS power up. But right here we get to see everybody like strut their stuff. Essentially, we really can see Zenitsu and Inosuke and Tanjiro like actually get stronger through that training. I also like how they frame it so that it is like we don't get to see it very much. To us, it looks like it's almost not that hard. Because, you know, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, they're like, you know, they fought upper moons already. But then you have the normal demon core, and they're like, this is too hard for us. We're going to move on to support. And instead of going, no, you guys can tough it out, I believe in you guys, Tanjiro goes, well, then I will rely on your support, and I will do what I can. And I was like, that's different. That's not the normal response. Normally, people are Tanjiro. Like, we together, friendship, can do this. And he was like, I get it. Like, I fought 2 upper moons. I get it. If you feel like this is too hard for you, that you'll never make it. He's like, and then we will just take use of whatever you can provide from the supporting aspect. Like, we will do what we can. You do what you can. And I thought that was
what I love.
Really interesting.
I love that so much. Because it really puts the weight on fighting the upper moons and fighting Muzan. Like, it's not something that everybody can do.
Yeah. Like,
Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, they've been put and tested through trial by combat, essentially. They weren't ready for it. They were just thrust upon it, and everybody's done everything that they can to support, or they had Hashiras watching their back. But now it's at the point where it's just like, yo, they need to be trained to step up for what's coming up. But I love the fact that, like, Tanjiro has that answer. We're just like, hey, I understand this. You know, him and Inosuke and all of them are inspiring the other, you know, Demon Core members to do what they can. But they're just like, yo, essentially Tanjiro and them are carrying that weight.
He's also like helping the bonds between the Hashira, because like a lot of the Hashira right now are like, man, fuck the rest of the core, they suck. Like, why are we even here for this? Like, Ichiro, his like little training section is probably the best one. He clearly is like,
is that the mist guy?
Different with Tanjiro. He's like, man, fuck all you guys. You guys suck. You're weak. You would have died 85 times already. I'm gonna keep killing you. And then Tanjiro's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, my best friend. How are you?
I love that. I love how everybody acts when they see Tanjiro. It makes me so happy.
The same way, and she like takes him out and he feeds him pancakes. And then the snake guy, Oberai, I think his name is like, man, fuck you for having breakfast with Mitsuri. I'll kill you.
Dude, so good. So good. So yeah, Demon Slayer this season has been a shit ton of fun. I love that I love the whole training arc. Like I'm a meathead shonen guy. I love a good training arc. Love a good tournament arc. I mean, obviously I don't think Demon Slayer is gonna have a tournament, but I love a good training arc so you can see the characters progress over time. I love how jacked, because Tanjiro's so tiny, but he's like fucking
else is also jacked. But they brought Zenitsu's freaking screaming back, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it so much. He like tried to sneak away from the wind guy, which I love the interaction between Tanjiro and the wind guy. Tanjiro's being totally reasonable, and dude is like trying to nuke his brother, and it's like, bro, chill. And they end up getting a restraining order against the wind. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, that was great. That whole interaction was great. My favorite part of that, and again, this is like mild spoilers, but when Hashira is just like, I forget his name, but he's just like, I still don't fuck with you. And Tanjiro's just smiling. And he's like, yeah, I hate your guts too for stabbing Netsuko. And he just like smiles.
I'm not here to fuck around. I'm here to train, and I know you're strong.
Yeah.
I don't like you, but I know you can teach me.
That shit, like the balls Tanjiro had, I love that shit.
Straight up, like, do something about it too.
Yeah, because Tanjiro headbutt that motherfucker. You don't give a fuck. And that's what I love about Tanjiro. Like, I know a lot of people give Deku shit, and I love Deku, but Deku wouldn't have had that response. And you would think that Tanjiro's the sweet cinnamon bun.
Deku would have sat there, did the Arthur meme, and then walked away.
Exactly. But Tanjiro's just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't like you either, bitch. Yeah, I was just like, that was so good. Like, I love Tanjiro's character, and I'm so excited to see the
say that like to himself or like reassure Zenitsu that was the case, and then he was straight up like when Wind Dude was like, I don't like you, and he's like, yeah, me neither. And I was like,
yeah, it was so good. I'm like, that's my dog. But yeah, so I've been loving this season. I've been loving seeing all the training. It's fun being able to see all the different Hashira and how different they are, but also going to see how capable and competent they are. We're getting a lot of lore bits from this season as well, with the Demon Slayer mark and some other things. I'm very excited to see where everything goes. I'm incredibly intrigued, and I'm excited for them to murder anime Michael Jackson. Like, I'm super duper excited.
The fight between Muichiro and the Wind guy and Obodai was also really
that was
good,
so sick.
It was almost a showcase of not only how strong he was, but how strong he became because he got the mark. So they had to 2v1 him, and they were still losing. So
that was so
everybody gets their mark, then like imagine the power that each Hashira can have. Like Stone Dude didn't even have his, and he's still regarded as the strongest.
The strongest. I'm excited. This is dumb. I didn't realize he was blind, even though his eyes are white.
Gloss over it because like how powerful he is and like how used to being blind he is. They kind of gloss over it like real hard. I think they only actually say it once.
Yeah, and I think it was in this season because I didn't realize it.
He specifically says that it was due to him having like an illness.
Yep.
So he was like, I lost it. So he wasn't even like born blind. He lost his sight and had to relearn how to navigate the world, which is, another step of strength or another feat of strength for him.
That takes mental fortitude, And I think that's why his whole training is like lift heavy shit, push heavy shit, stand at the waterfall.
Yeah, but why can none of them teach jack shit, dude? Like, he's like, he doesn't explain anything. Genya has to come up and explain to Tanjiro how to focus the power into the push. Why didn't Stone Dude say that? That's what I like,
because not everybody's a teacher. Like, that's what I kind of like. Or you're just like, he sucks at explaining shit.
One of them can teach anything. You think Mitsuri can teach anything? She literally just forced the splits on everybody. And was like,
and I think that's why the Demon Slayer course sucks.
You just either naturally get it or you're toast.
That's why I genuinely think, because when she was trying to explain how it felt to get the Demon Slayer mark, and how she was explaining it like Tanjiro like whoosh and whoosh.
And then my heart went boom boom.
Yeah, and I'm just like, they're fucking idiots. That's what I love. So somebody else.
He was describing it, and I was like, well, they just have to go ask Tanjiro, and then they're like, well, we tried to ask Tanjiro, and he did the same thing.
Yeah, that's that. Not everybody's a teacher, but everybody has something to teach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they might not be the best of it, but there's something that you can learn.
Create an environment where the only thing that you can do is figure out their thing.
Yeah.
The Obrai, he doesn't really teach anything either. He's just like, there's going to be times where you might hit shit.
Yep.
Don't hit stuff. And then he's like, now fight me.
Dead. You're dead. Stab you, dead.
Morichiro's was just technique training. He would just beat the hell out of everybody. And he's like, oh, if I was a demon, you would have been killed 4 times already.
Yeah, but fucking... What's his name? The flashy Hashira. What's their name?
Tengen
is best, man. I love him.
He had both the easiest to understand training, but was also the best at portraying it. But he was still the worst at showing how he was feeling towards everybody, because his wives had to say it. They're like, he's concerned about all you guys, so he won't eat until everybody else does. Then he'll eat. I'm like, that's so nice, but you don't get to see that really until they say that.
My favorite moment from his training was when he got to fight for a bit. And then he was just like, all right, all you guys, try not to die. Tanjiro, your job is to protect everybody. I thought that was sick. Like, just being like, it kind of sets up the whole, like, Tanjiro's carrying everything for everybody.
I don't know how I felt about that, because I was like, they're actively treating Tanjiro different. And I was like, oh, but wait, they have to, because he can't just go through basic training. He's already done it. Like, he's fought 2 upper moons at this point. Dude does not need basic stamina training. He needs like formation training. And so they're like, he was kind of teaching him to be more like a Hashira, like Rengoku, who was like, I fight to protect, not to kill. And a lot of the Hashira are like, no, I'm gonna just nuke whoever, and everybody else around me be damned. And Tengen's like, I have the ability to structure that so that doesn't happen. And so they make him kind of excluded from the normal training, and then give everybody one task, and then him a essentially adjacent task, which was really good.
Yeah, like I thought it was great. I love a good training arc. I honestly wish we could get more, but I'm having a blast with the season. I can't wait for the season finale, because I'm sure it's going to pop off. There's so many things building in the background that I know is going to pop off. So I'm so excited for where it's going to end and where we're going to next season. Demon Slayer, again, if I wanted to give my ranking, we can come up to a consensus, but I slide that motherfucker straight up the S. Straight up the
S.
Oh, 1,000%. Where do you think it fits?
I probably would have said top of A. I'm cool putting it in S, but I probably would have said top of A.
I understand both of those. I love me some Demon Slayer, man.
The only reason I want to give it top of A is because not much has happened. Like, this is a setup.
Well, this isn't the best season, yeah.
Like this is setup arc. Like, I know what's coming. I know what happened before it. Like, combat wise and whatever, they've had better because the situation allowed it to be so. But you know, they just don't have anything to work with, really. What they have in front of them, they've done well. But it's just like the timing of this arc is, I don't want to say it's like not as good as it could be, because like I don't really think that it could be better.
It's a building season.
Yeah, it's just build up. So if we put it at S now, then it's like, where are we going to put the next one, you know?
Well, okay, because I guess in my mind, I'm thinking of all of Demon Slayer and all of my love and passion for Demon Slayer. Not just a season. I would say this season's an A season, because you know.
Yeah, but we have to be critical. We can't just be, you know, biased and be like S everything because we like it.
You got the wrong podcast with the wrong dude.
But there was like, it can't be S just because it's Demon Slayer. It has to do something.
I believe in my passions, Vix. You got to understand, I'm a man that is moved by his passions. I love Demon Slayer.
All right, chat, you're up. I got top.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Maybe you guys can sway us.
If you're listening to the video or the audio podcast, where would you put Demon Slayer's Hashira training arc on this tier list? S, A, B, C, or D? Where would you guys like it? S, or
it's already getting spicy here. It's already getting spicy.
Our first threat. We're really making it as a podcast.
Let's go. But yeah, so I mean, again, I'm taking into context my in love for Demon Slayer, so that's why I said S. I'm fine putting this season specifically in like top of A.
Yeah, Demon Slayer as a whole is definitely like an S tier. People don't give it the credit that it absolutely, you know, deserves.
Oh yeah,
like, it's simple. Like, so
it's fun. It's good. Yeah. It's enjoyable. It's a blast. Like, I'm having
Demon
fun.
Slayer as a whole is definitely good. This is of the 4 available seasons. This is probably like the slowest, and I know some people have already mentioned that they had dropped it because it was like, this is a slow season, but that's like, it needs to be. So
yeah, you need hill peaks and valleys, man. Otherwise the story, you're gonna get burnt out.
I wouldn't put it in S, because this is already this is like the bottom. Like, if this is how low it goes and it's A, next season is gonna be wild. S plus, S plus.
Yeah, we're gonna add new fucking tiers.
So we're looking at chat to fully decide. We got A and S between us. We got one person in chat saying S.
I mean, we can just compromise on this one. I agree. To be critical,
I'll leave it in S, and we'll see.
No. Okay, we can adjust it later.
Yeah. D, shut up. He wasn't even listening. If you watched the video podcast you saw earlier, Zoop Doop Games went out for milk because he didn't want spoilers, so he doesn't even know.
Damn, you called him by his whole government name.
But yeah, last.
So I'm fine with leaving it here, and then we can discuss it and move it around as we go through the rest of the shows. I love Demon Slayer. I don't mind a slow season because I think that this is important. My main thing when it comes to shows is that you need the peaks and valleys. Because if everything is an 11, you know, like it's always so hype, it's going to burn you out, or you're going to feel like it needs to be this all the time. So when it's not, then it's garbage. It got bad.
Yeah,
like you need to have those slow mo's to build up.
They're just always in combat. They need a moment of reprieve. So like even My Hero, they have Deku get his reprieve. I think it was last season.
Yeah.
So definitely
the reprieve was that garbage ass Class A and Class B shit that I hated.
I just thought we need more of that.
Yeah, that's my controversial My Hero take. That shit fucking pissed me off. I was like, I don't give a fuck about these Class B motherfuckers. They suck. Other than like Kendo, because I love Kendo and the Big Dumb Hands. And Momika, the copy dude.
Cool powers. The Tremors guy could have been like really sick, and some of them was like the welding dude. Like if he can just weld anything to anything, that's like busted. Right?
Yeah, they could be doing cool shit. But the motherfuckers don't get it. You're like, oh, I'm Tetsu. I'm like this guy, but still. And I was like, all right, come on now. What are y'all here for?
Yeah, like Tetsu literally just Kirishima again. And I was
and I'm just like, y'all making me not give a fuck about these dudes. But anyway, I love My Hero.
But yeah, so we're gonna stick with Demon Slayer going into S this time. Seems like most people agree. So we're gonna go on to the next one. What the hell? Oh, you trying to do an S?
I'm trying to make an S. I'm trying to make an S with my hands. Oh no, I think I threw up a gang sign. But anyway, there you go. That's something. It should be something like this.
Move on to the next one. Demon Slayer holding this place in S for now. It'll probably not drop out of S. There's not a whole lot on this list, so I firmly believe it will stay up there. Worst it will possibly be is like top of A. I can't imagine it being like worse than anything else in A.
Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with it being top A.
But
just for the season,
our next one is gonna be. It has a familiar taste. It kind of rings familiar to like No Game No Life. It does, however, take away like some of the important bits that No Game No Life had, where that made it feel really good. This one is called In God's Game We Play. It is about humanity as a whole can play essentially games that gods have come up with in order to gain their wins, but they're basically favor, and first person to 10 wins against gods will receive a reward, they say. And nobody knows what the reward is. And then there is what was once a god that has joined the human side, and she's like a just kind of a powerful human now. All of the, what do they call them? Acolytes, I think. They all have like a special power, and they're chosen like at birth or something. So that like, you know, who is going to be a player in these god games. There is like no penalty to losing a god game other than after you lose 3 times, you can't play anymore. Basically just takes you out of the running for the reward. And I'm like, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, like you don't die or something. God don't smote you, send you hell.
Yeah, so like the entire point is basically to just get the reward because you want to.
Yeah.
And like if you have what they call an arise, which is like your superpower, you just use that to try to win. And the main character has like the dumbest power, and then they use it once to introduce it, and then they never use it again.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, it was
so what's the power?
in like the second game, and I was like, okay, I can see that. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. You won't get much out of it. His arise is basically on his first loss, he doesn't lose.
Oh, he gets a fucking mulligan?
Yeah, so like, but it like refreshes per game, so they have to make him lose twice, or he has to die twice to lose the game. And he's just like this. He's basically the Sora from No Game No Life, where he's just like this unparalleled gamer, and he just figures out all of the strats all of the time, no problemo. And some of the times it's like, okay, buddy, whatever you say.
Is you the Detective Conan? I saw that shit 10 episodes ago.
Yeah, like in order to get one of the people, so the rules were set up. If you have 3 losses, you can no longer participate in the God games. And then they introduce a character who really wants to play, but has 3 losses. And it's like, well, sucks to suck. And then they're like, oh, that's not the case. And it's like, wait, huh? What? And they're like, we just have to go beat this other god named the Bookmaker. And then instead of gaining a win, you lose a loss. And I was like, okay, I feel like that should have been mentioned earlier because this feels a little cheap right now. And then they like, the deal is basically whoever, you have to bet your wins against your losses. And then if you win, you get that many back. And he, like, they go to the Bookmaker and he is telling this person, like, he's so confident that they're going to pass the Bookmaker's like trial to get her wins reduced. And then she ends up losing. And he's like, oh yeah, all part of the plan. And then he challenged the Bookmaker again to get her losses removed, betting his own wins.
So there's no
again.
stakes?
And then it's like, after he wins, he was like, oh yeah, I knew you were going to lose the whole time, but I did this because now we all have the same number of wins. And I was like, you fucking idiot.
What the fuck? There's no stakes.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't understand what the point is. There is like kind of a stake now where the game that they're in apparently has no ending, where essentially the win condition is to beat the final boss, and the final boss is the god. But the game has been going on for so long that the god, quote unquote, has actually died of boredom. So there is no final boss. So,
what the fuck?
I was like, huh? And it's literally just a roguelite where when you die, you just start over, and you can just, there's a counter over your head over how many times that you've died, and you just basically keep going. And I'm like, how has nobody just like accidentally finished the game yet? So it's like, okay, they don't make use of the power system at all. One person uses their ability frequently, another person uses their power unnecessarily, and then another person doesn't use their power at all. And I was like, okay.
You get the whole spectrum.
Yeah, it was like one person is good, one person is like in the middle, and one person is like so good they don't need it. And I'm like, I don't know. Personally, in God's Game We Play, I'd put it probably.
I was say B. It didn't sound good at all.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't feel bad to watch it. It just doesn't feel like there's like reward for watching it. We're gonna put it in C.
Okay, that's fine, because I know you saving that D slot pretty warm for a certain anime.
Yeah, it's on the list. It's only gonna be 1 in D. I wanted to add a specific tier for drop because I only dropped 1 this season.
Okay.
And I think the one you're thinking of is not the one that I'm gonna put in my dropped spot.
Accused.
the one that you dropped is not gonna be in mine.
Okay.
So in God's Game,
I guess technically you didn't drop it. Actually, we talked about it earlier, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys listening at home. I dropped the fuck out of that shit.
It slowly became one of those ones that it was like, it started to become a chore. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to watch this.
I can't wait to talk about that bad boy. So you guys better keep listening.
Even though I even see it.
I can't tell. The picture's kind of small.
Third from last, I see it.
Okay, perfect. I'm excited.
So unless chat has another ranking for God's Game We Play, sitting firmly in C. Definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen. I didn't hate watching it every week. It just didn't do anything new. A lot of the structure that they set up, they just threw out the window. They ignored a lot of the rules. I didn't like a lot of the choices that they made. It seemed kind of dumb. Like the third character that like had the losses, they introduced her as a stalker, and I was like, what? And she was like in her room, like the room was just like a fucking disaster, and she just kept saying the main character's name, and she's like, I will be there for him. I'm gonna support him. I'm gonna meet them when possible. And I'm like, she's a creep.
She deserved to lose all the wins.
And then they introduce her, and she like comes out like really forward, and then she creeps the main characters out, and then later on they're just like, oh yeah, we could totally add you to the team. That's cool. I'm down. And you're like, wait, I thought she was freaking weird, and I also thought she was out. So
the mangaka must really like that character.
Well, if that's the case, I know exactly why. her arise is the ability to reflect anything by kicking it. And that sounds like this was not that bad. When she kicks things, her thigh highs tear off. So she has to carry around a bag with more thigh highs.
Anime.
Nobody mentions it though. Nobody talks about the bag. Nobody's like, why is that there? The only reason I know what's in the bag is because they did like a close-up of her kicking this all-powerful attack in the last couple episodes or something, and it ripped the thigh hides off, and then in the next scene she's putting more on, and I was like, where did you get those? And then I see her walking around with the bag, and I'm like, oh, that's what the bag is for. That makes sense. That's super
so stupid.
But
it's so fucking dumb.
I would just not wear the thigh highs.
That's what I'm saying. Why wear thighs? They're gonna blow up.
But that's why it's not my anime.
That's why it's in the sea. Or I can't believe she keep wearing more thighs.
So firmly C. Weird, kind of unbalanced shit. Whatever.
Damn, I thought that was gonna be good, man. I missed No Game No Luck.
Yeah.
Or No Game No Life. No Game No Luck. I'm thinking Undead Unluck.
It was in the same vein where a lot of things were dictated, but like if you were a player, you got a lot of privileges, but it wasn't like you could dictate the rules of the world by winning game. It wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, fine, watch. Like if you're watching it, I'm not gonna be like, man, you're dumb. Don't watch it.
I was hoping that you were going to say, like, if they lost against the bookkeeper, then, like, their fucking asses would explode or something. Like, something happened. But, you know, whatever.
Losing against the bookkeeper only takes away your wins. As a matter of fact, when you lose against the bookkeeper, you don't actually gain a loss. So, if you have two losses...
So, it's just a net positive, pretty much.
Like, if you lose, you just get nothing. Or you just lose nothing except for like whatever wins you staked out. That's the threat. Is just that.
But didn't she not have any wins, or did she have wins but had 3 losses?
However, this was another part that didn't make any fucking sense. They were betting not her wins. They were betting the main character's wins. So they were like, I'm gonna bet 3 wins against her 3 losses. So if we win, then all 3 of her wins will be cleared. If we lose, then you take my 3 wins. And then he knew she was going to lose. And when she lost, it dropped him down to 3 wins. And he's like, great, now we're all in the same number of wins. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
Damn.
Like,
well, isn't C.
There's literally no downside to, like, being the first one there. They told us what the reward is. And it's kind of like, I'm going to say it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it because it's not that important, but it's kind of like the thing they're going for. So we know what the reward is. There's no reason for you to not be the only one. There's no reason. With the value that comes with that reward, just fucking win. That's it. That's all you need to do is win. And he's like, no, I want to do it because I love playing the game. And so I want us all to play the games together. And I'm like, you're so stupid. You can do that with the reward, bro. It's just, I don't understand why he like handicapped himself like that. I mean, like, I get the sentimental value behind it, but it's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that is dumb. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead on over to the next anime on this here tier list, because we slotted in God's Game we play, or what is it called?
Yeah, God's Game we play, C list or C tier.
C list.
This is the one that you were thinking about earlier.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can see the name here. I know I have it open. I want to say the whole thing. I was reincarnated as the 7th prince, so I can take my time perfecting my magic.
There we go. That was what I was thinking of. So I want to hear about this because okay, can I go into my preconceived notions? I'm assuming. So this is what I assumed. And you know about assuming. You make an ass out of you and me. You know what I mean? So I want to see if me assuming about this anime will make me look out to be an asshole, or if I was right on the money. So all I know about I got reincarnated as a 7th prince is like, all right, this guy get isekai in the world. He's like a young boy. And you know, he's trying to do the normal isekai shit. Be strong, be powerful, be ranking up, whatever the hell it is, right? I'm not 100% sure. But I just saw that he was a child with like weird pants and run around and like around a bunch of people. And I'm just like, this just feel like it's gonna be weird. You know what I mean? Like, it just had all the red flags. Like, this shit gonna be weird. It's gonna be like a harem or some shit.
It definitely
I was
had
like,
all the red flags in it.
I was like, am I crazy? I was like, I don't want to watch this.
The thing that really threw me off when I watched the first episode was like they made him unnecessarily thick.
Okay.
And I was like,
I was
wait,
thinking about bringing that up.
Why do you have, you're like 7 and you
I
have
was like,
dummy thick cheeks? What's happening?
Yeah, he's like a kid with childbearing hips. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It was weird. It's like, so weird.
I was ready to just dismiss it off of that. I was like, this is going to be, like you said, it got all the red flags. It's got the isekai name, the OP. Like, we already know the main character's overpowered. I'm ready to just throw this under the rug.
Yeah.
But
what? There's no way there's a butt other than his butt.
It is fucking good, dude.
Are you serious?
It is good. This is the other one that caught me off guard. The animation is so fucking clean. The story is the story needs a little bit to be desired, but the characters are so interesting. Like, all of them are. The prince, the prince's brothers that you get to meet, they're interesting. The king is not just like all about the succession war or whatever. Some of the princes don't even care. They try to offer him a place in the succession war, and he's straight up like, no thanks, I'm good.
I don't want to die.
And he's just like, I just want to do magic stuff. And like, it's interesting because I don't know about you, but I like it when they spend a lot of time like delving into the magic, like as if it were some kind of science. I like it when magic is some kind of science. It makes it feel like you can just like figure things out. There's like it
makes it feel more real.
There's new things you can do. You know, I play games. I like to be my wizard. I like to have millions of spells if I can. That's what makes it interesting is, dude, he's got so much magic power that he can do fucking whatever. And he literally does whatever. And all the time, he's just like overwhelmingly powerful. And each time it's like with a new skill. And he takes on the like golden child prodigy deal where he's just like, he can figure it out in like 2 seconds. And he does it like repeatedly. He's like in the middle of combat and he's like put his high velocity barrier on or whatever. And he's flying around and he's like, I think I can do it this way. And he's like trying to learn how to use the magic that's being used against him or whatever. In the fight towards the end or the most recent episode, he learned how to break down a teleportation spell to read where it's going to go. And then he used a different formula to automatically track that teleport so that he could automatically target him upon re-entry into the world. So I was like, damn, bro does not care. He's like, and he was fucking around the whole time. He did not care because it was like the fight was cool. It made it seem like it was really close. Like the dude he was fighting was very strong. And then like it seemed like he was being pushed back. And then he said something. I can't remember what he said. It was the typical, I insulted somebody that you care about. Now I have to die. And it was like, dude was basically like, okay, well, you're kind of a dick now. I'm going to stop messing around. And then he just absolutely obliterates this dude. Like he turns him into like subatomic particle dust in seconds. Oh shit. So it is like, the way that he learns, like they show you him learning each thing too. So he like learns how to enchant swords. He learns how to dual cast. He absorbs the familiar into his hand so that the demon showed him in combat that he could dual cast because he could spout another mouth. And then he was like, I bet I can do that. Absorbed him into his body, forced his hand to be like the mouth of the demon. And then used his magic willpower to use the other mouth to chant a second spell. And then he was like, I wonder how many times I can do that. So he just like keeps layering more spells on top of each other until it just like is this massive nuke, and then it misfires. And like all of it is animated so good. It's like it's so unnecessary that it's so interesting. And I don't hate any of the characters. Like, okay, I will say though, here's the disclaimer. Here you go. The maid is freaking weird towards the child.
Wait, what? The maid?
The maid is weird towards the child. She's like the strongest adventurer swordsman in like recent history. She's like super powerful. She is like obsessed with the child. And they make it a point that it is not like a friendly way either. It's very romantically interested in this child. So I was like,
Oh
damn it.
Lord.
And it sucks because she's cool. Outside of that one thing, she's fucking cool.
Outside of the weird anime
Yeah,
thing.
except for the weird anime thing, she's cool. She has like the really epic. She has the anime moment where she's like silhouetted with the moon behind her, and she's drawing her like new spellbound sword. It's so cool. It's like the coolest fucking thing. And then she's just like, okay, but this small child. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, certified lover boy, certified. Okay, so then
yeah.
I guess this is where I got to eat crow. I guess I was wrong. I was wrong to judge a book by its cover. I am the ass of the podcast
dummy
today.
Thick booty cheeks got me right off the gate too. I'll admit it. I was ready to
Dude,
dismiss it, but it was good. It was.
Cause I was like, they're gonna make this shit weird,
it was
man.
so fun. Like watching it, they're like, they didn't do anything crazy, unique or anything, but the way that they did all of the things that have already been done was so fun. That's it. Show was so fun to watch. I don't like. It's hard to describe it, but just watching it was like always a good time, you know. And like towards the middle-ish, they start introducing, for lack of a better term, defective people who were unable to control their unique magic, and even they were interesting. Like they had unique powers. They did. There was one line that they said that I was like, you didn't need to say that. And and I
Is
know
it
why
like
they
fucking
said it.
86?
I know.
You know
why
what
they
got me?
said it.
Okay. Yeah, can I just say this real quick? The one thing that got me, because I know everybody loves 86, the anime that came out, right? The thing that killed me in 86 was when, like, in episode 8 or 9, they just started throwing out the word coloreds. And I was just like, what is going on? And it's because the 86, they have colorful anime people here. And, like, the higher up people that, you know, like, oh, we're the real people, whatever. They all have, like, white hair and, like, blue eyes or whatever.
Okay.
And I was just like, how y'all just gonna randomly start throwing out the word colored? Like, I'm like that threw me off. So I'm guessing something like that in.
It's not. It's just weird, and it's like any normal person would know what he's saying. In the context, you can almost understand why he doesn't like connect the dots. So the guy is like this sub leader of the Assassin's Guild. His uncontrollable magic is webbing. So he can basically generate web through like any part of his body or whatever, but he can't control it. So he'll just like randomly, puff out
shit web,
whatever. But it's kind of like a liquid web at first before it like solidifies.
So jizz.
And when they're known as the Assassin's Guild, so they're already on thin ice. The sixth prince, I think, comes up and is like trying to find the seventh prince. And he says something along the lines of, it's fine. He got covered in my fluids, but it's fine. And it's like, you didn't have to say that. You know exactly what's going to happen now. And then dude started freaking out. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what you should have known was going to happen. And as chat said, yes, it does look like cum.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Splooges out. It does look like a bit of a mess. Like someone just blasted on him, but it's like he doesn't even know. But in his ever so slight defense, there's no defense for the mangaka to not like dismiss that. In the context of the dude, he was secluded from society for like the longest time, so you can kind of understand why he doesn't have like the social etiquette or anything. But you knew what you were saying. You knew it. You knew it was gonna happen. Like, in what universe would it be okay for you to be like, yeah, I covered this 7-year-old prince in my fluids? That's the weird part. That's like that was one weird line that didn't need to be said. They moved past it relatively quickly, and then they brought it back as like a kind of a funny joke at the end because he needed to explain it to the sixth prince. Other than that, the only like continuously weird part is the maid. Even that's not too bad. She's just like really affectionate towards him. She doesn't like try to make out with him or anything. She's very protective, but she does just get a little bit weird about it, but not too bad. Even with the weirdness, I'm putting it an A.
An A?
I think
okay, so I did.
A. Even with
I'm
the
fine
weirdness,
with that.
I think the weirdness, like the weird one line was funny. It was like, bro, why did you say that? But it was kind of like you had to laugh at it. Like it's like, like they didn't try to cover it, not even a little bit. So it was good. And then like the main character, or like the leader of the Assassin's Guild, has like everybody in the Assassin's Guild actually has like such kind of a dark backstory that led them to be in this Assassin's Guild. But they do a very good job of showing you these are not bad people. They were people that were given a bad hand.
Yeah.
And like the leader of the Assassin's Guild, I'm not going to say the spoiler, but I'm going to say they gave him very powerful backstory. And they put him in a situation where it was like, damn. At the very end, you were like, I can't believe that. So the characters were fun and interesting. I like the way that they built the magic system. They don't make it clear on like how magic is like exhausted from somebody, because this child has like an unlimited amount of magic, but everybody else has to use like spellbound swords to cast magic because it's just like so inefficient. Probably the isekai dudes using it like science kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you just kind of accept him as like a prodigy, then a lot of it makes a lot more sense. But I don't have any real issue other than the weird maid thing. But they still made the maid really cool, and they didn't buckle down on the weirdness. So she kind of just became like a bodyguard for the most part, who was protective of him for the most part. Like there were times where she was like a little bit going too far, but they never pushed their limit. They never like pushed the boundary or anything. So I was okay with it, I guess. Definitely, I'm gonna put it in A though. It was definitely just a fun watch. If anybody has in chat, this is your time. If you guys disagree with this, or if you are watching the video podcast, if you disagree, let us know. This is your time. This is the time to move it. If you disagree, if that weird maid was too much for you and you think that should knock it down a peg, this is where you let us know.
Yeah, because I just wanted to say, like, I love magic systems because I'm huge into medieval fantasy. It's my favorite genre of like novels. And one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson. And the way that he writes his magic system in a lot of his books, whether from the Mistborn series or the Stormlight series, like all of his magic systems are super duper in depth, super interesting, and it is broken down like a science. And that's one of my favorite like lines and anything is like, magic is just science you don't understand. You know what I mean? And I think that's really interesting. Again, I completely wrote that show off that it's going to be just some weird ass like, anime shit. So I really wasn't like, I was like, I'm not going to watch this, whatever. I'm just going to just forget about this because it's going like, it just felt like it was going to be weird. But, hearing that, it makes me intrigued. Now, obviously, we have Nova in the chat. He's saying that maybe it should be a B. I don't know if anybody else has any other opinions on it.
I think it's just too much fun of a watch to move it any lower than B. But I get it. It's the weirdness of it. It keeps it out of S because the main character is like way too overpowered. For like 90% of the time, you don't think for any degree that he's ever gonna get even hit until like the very end, and then you're like, okay, maybe. So that can kind of pull it out of S because it takes that like threat out of it. But that is also not the point. It's supposed to be kind of funny, but they made the characters very interesting, and it was a fun watching him like learn the spells, and him being kind of reckless with the spells was kind of like fun to watch. I put it in A because mostly it's fun. I can move down to B because of the weird shit. I, as a veteran anime watcher, I've seen worse. It was light enough that I think I could let it go. But for anybody who doesn't watch like hundreds and hundreds of hours of anime, definitely see how that could be like down here. As much as I would like to leave it in A, I will drop it to B, top of B.
All right. So with our 5th anime ranking that we're going to be doing, what's the next anime? Vix,
hit us up with it. On the list, we have the latest season of My Hero Academia.
What?
So this last season has been kind of like, this is the season where the peak of everything comes together. I haven't seen the most recent episode that I believe is, spoiler alert, if you are not caught up to the latest episode, mute for like 10 seconds. I'm going to say the fight and then you can unmute. That was your chance. It's Todoroki versus Dabi, I think was the latest one. And I didn't see that one, but it looked like it did hold up to the manga panel. So I'm glad to see that. The fights so far have been good. The animation hasn't like fallen off the cliff or anything, so I'm good on the direction that it all went. I have no complaints to the manga versus the anime so far.
It looks amazing.
I've seen some people were kind of unhappy with the amount of flashbacks that happened during the last fight, but I mean, like that was you kind of had needed it. Like the fight didn't mean anything with that. That's My Hero's whole thing is these fights don't last long, but they have meaning, and they're like, well, Dobby doesn't have that much meaning yet, so they're like, we're gonna really buckle down here. And some people were just like, I don't like the flashbacks. There's too many flashbacks. I'm like, okay, I know what kind of viewer you are.
a bitch. No, joking.
Otherwise, it pretty much just falls into the standard My Hero realm. Like, I'll put it, like bottom of A, top of B, maybe, or like maybe not top, like right under. I think I would rather watch Seventh Prince than My Hero. I like My Hero, but I really enjoyed watching Seventh Prince. Like, I'm telling you, that shit was so fun.
So I'll keep it brief because, again, I feel like Demon Slayer, My Hero, the anime that everybody's watching, everybody already has your opinions on it. I don't think we're going to sway you or anything like that. My view on My Hero for this season is a little bit weird because during the time period from the last season, this season, I'm all caught up on the manga. So I haven't watched any of the anime for this season yet, right? And in the lead up to this season coming out, a lot of people were complaining about a couple of things. Oh, Blue Sky controversy, this, that, like a lot of people complaining. And I trust Studio Bones. Like I don't know where this weird like negative sentiment came from the My Hero community.
Put in one of the comments of the videos that I was watching on TikTok, and they were like, "Finally, Studio Bones is getting it together." I'm like, "The fuck do you mean? When did they not have it together?"
The Mob Psycho guys
have been praised as some of the best animators since season 1. What are you talking about?
Some people. I believe in psychopaths. I want psychopaths future. Some people don't deserve opinions. You should be able to like scan somebody's brain and be like, yeah, your opinion don't matter. No,
they go straight into losers queue. They get their own comment section. That shit don't matter.
Like everything you say on social media should just be like muted for normal people. You just talk to the other people in loser jail.
You get like reported enough on like one site, your usernames from like then on will always have like a little mark next to it. Be like, this guy says stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. More community notes is what I'm saying. Anyway,
community notes were like the best thing to ever happen to Twitter. I love community notes.
They are very funny at times. I love a good chuckle at somebody just getting pretty much like fact checked. So anyway, whatever. That's not what this podcast is about. But anyway, I love My Hero. It is fantastic. It is a fun shonen popcorn summer anime. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's comfortable. It's fun. It's shonen. I love My Hero to death. This season has been animated beautifully for everything that I've seen. I will be watching the full season. Normally, whenever I'm caught up on the manga, I wait for the season to be done and I catch up. But I love My Hero so much. And the spoiler alert, I'll just say it like this. The current fight is one of my favorite fights. It is very short. In the manga, it felt like that shit just like one page. I was like, damn. But the weight behind the characters that are involved in the fight is very heavy. One of my favorite scenes from the last season was the Dobby dance. And I feel like being able to see all these characters progress and where they're going and what's happening in the show, it's just like such a good payoff. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people have a lot of opinions about My Hero, especially because the beginning of season 5 with the My Hero Academia part of it, where it's like, oh yeah, classroom stuff. I honestly felt like with the Dark Deku stuff, I was like, this shit, I don't give a fuck about this shit. Like I want to get to the meat. I want to get to the meat.
Deku felt like it was. I mean, I liked Dark Deku in the sense that it was putting more weight onto the story that I knew was coming. Even with like when I was reading the manga and they came out with Dark Deku, I knew that something was gonna come down and just like really put a brick on you. Like you could feel it weigh your soul down. Because it almost hurt to see Deku like so torn after like he's been the most direct hero that he could come up with. And like he fights for good. He's supposedly the next pillar. All Might didn't ever have to, well, from what we could tell, ever have to struggle quite like this. So it was heartbreaking to see him fall like that. And
it was so good, dude.
Yeah, I think Dark Deku, while I didn't want to see him be villainous, I think it was very good that they showed it like that. So he didn't pull All Might and just was like, yeah, I'm the strongest and I can solve all the problems by punching them. he's not All Might, and they made him solve it in his way, which was hard, and that made him like slip. And I was like, that was important to show like his mental state at the time, because like really you're going into superhuman war right now with the strongest two villains of all time. Of course it's gonna weigh on you. It would be absolutely wild if it didn't. So I like Dark Deku's storytelling points. Him trying to like fight off everybody was kind of like, bro, chill. But like, I get it.
I loved it. I was like, fuck all you losers. Go back to class. There's real shit out in the streets.
It took all 25 of you to catch up to me.
Yeah, I was like, y'all motherfuckers is side characters. He should start talking like Bakugo. He's like, y'all side players. Just die. But anyway, I love My Hero, but I'm fine with it being like in the middle. It is kind of just like the solid anime. It is the anime where if you want to introduce somebody new in anime, I highly recommend My Hero. Yeah, it's fun, it's cute.
Anime, definitely like. You won't get anything new this season. It's kind of like the peak of this stuff that was culminating this whole time. But you know, it's typical shonen. It's not blowing your mind. It didn't take any crazy turns that you didn't already see coming. Nothing really blows you out of the water, but it is comfortable. It's something you're familiar with. So like, I would never be like, man, don't watch the season. It sucked. It's still good. It's just nothing unique, really. So that's why I put it in B.
Yeah. But I agree. So if you guys are here live and you guys want to give us your personal opinions of My Hero before we swap over to the next anime, you guys can let us know. Do you guys believe that it belongs in the B category, in the B tier of our tier list, the ultimate tier list that you'll find here on any platform that you're on? You guys can weigh your opinion. Because again, we are the podcast of the people. Let your voice be heard. Just like Oven Door Stealer just said. It's definitely a basic bitch anime. Yeah, solid B for the hero shit, but not anything special, which is true. Again, I love My Hero. Because again, I love comic books. I love superhero stuff. My Hero fills that niche. I love the aesthetic of it. I love all the characters. It's a lot of fun. But again, it isn't like, oh my God, this anime changed my opinion on anime. It's like revolutionary. You know what I mean? So it's just fun. It's a solid show.
Anime. Like, this is the one where I don't need to put a disclaimer on because somebody's doing anything weird. For the most part, there is the one guy.
There's the one diaper baby. But yeah,
he can be removed. I don't think he ever says anything valuable in the entire show. I think one time he tries to like trade himself off, and I was like, yeah. And he doesn't even listen to him. I'm like, well, you could have literally not been there, and it would have been exactly the same.
Dude, But anyway, Well, then I think that we've heard the voice of the people. Vix, what is the next anime on the list?
Next up is a classic, a crowd favorite, Konosuba. How many times have you heard people bring up Konosuba? How it's funny, it's goofy, it's way out there. Somebody mentioned that it only works because of how bad other isekai is, which at first I thought was really stupid of a take, and then it was like this last season, I'm going to say, felt really bad for some reason. And I think it might be because a lot of the isekai anime that like is based around has actually been really good lately. Like there's no real isekai that's been like absolute garbage that you can kind of resonate with it. It's just like, it's they're there. Yeah. And then they tried to make one of the characters who is kind of like, she's like the more of the serious one at the beginning. And I swear I do not remember Aqua being as fucking annoying as she was in this last season. She was useless. Like, I know they call her Useless God, and she's just like way off in La La Land for 95% of the time, and then on no prompt whatsoever just comes back and like nukes a dude with holy resonance or what the fuck ever. And I was like, where did that come from? Why didn't you say anything? She just, without being prompted, asked, talked to, or anything, she just casts magic just out of the blue. And then one of the characters, the Darkness, they made her be like really serious.
That's what I was going to ask.
The context makes sense that she had to be very serious, but that's not what the show was about. So it was very weird to see everybody else being a goofball and her trying to be serious about it. And then they kept trying to make like Kazuma kept being like supportive and then would immediately slip back into goofy. And it was like, it started to feel okay. And then it was like, something doesn't mash well anymore.
Yeah. Like
So
it
it was
the
like they
dichotomy
culture
of
shocked you every 5 minutes, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Personally, I would put this one down like in C, probably bottom of C. I didn't hate it. I just didn't really want to watch this last season. I don't. It's something I couldn't tell you specifically what it was. I think it's just the culture or like the shock of how unnatural everybody was acting that
mhm.
just really made it not sit right.
Well,
I couldn't
that
tell you.
sucks.
I
Cause
don't think it's bad. Like if you watch it and you enjoy it, then
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like the goofy parts are still there. A lot of characters still remain in the same vein that they were in the previous seasons. But it's something is different. I don't know. Like usually, I literally can't tell you. It's just something is wrong, and whatever it is drags it down super hard, and it's almost more frustrating because you can't tell what it is.
Yeah,
Something just doesn't sit right with you, and you just sit there watching the entire episode, and you're like, why don't I like this right now? That's you spend the entire time wondering what's wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand what's happening. So that's why it fell so far. Like the last two seasons, I loved them. I thought they were hilarious. This one was not so much. There was funny moments, but it was more like instead of it being a funny show, it seemed like every character was comedic relief. And I was like, okay.
Damn, that legitimately sucks. Like I've heard about Konosuba for years. I never watched it. Like back in the day, like when I was, watching anime when I was younger. I missed out on it. But for the longest time, everybody was just like, Konosuba's so fucking funny, you need to watch it. And I love comedy anime. I love comedy and humor and everything like that. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna give it a watch during the pandemic. Watched the first season of Konosuba, fell in love with it. It was fucking hilarious. I loved all the characters. It was incredibly like funny, especially in the age of everything's an isekai. It was even more like, I guess, relevant to me. So I really enjoyed it because it was a unique take on the isekai genre. Like it was a ton of fun. And so it kind of sucks, like knowing that this most recent season, which I haven't watched. I've seen a couple of clips, whatever like that. So when you were saying like one character gets serious,
I would say if you liked the first two seasons, give it a shot. What's that wrong with me might not sit wrong with you. Personally, something just felt wrong. Like I said, I couldn't tell you what it was, so maybe that might not hit you like it hit me. So it's hard to say. It slowly became one of those ones that it was like, I guess I'll just save this one for later, kind of watch it. Like I didn't like wait. I didn't sit at the edge of my seat for the next episode. I wasn't like, yeah, more Konosuba. I was like, I ain't got nothing else, so I'll watch it.
Okay. So. Well, that sucks. Hopefully, whatever the next season is, can bounce it back. Or I don't know how many episodes are left in the season, but it does suck because I know so many people love Konosuba. It's done.
The season is done.
Sure. Damn. Well, that's sad to hear, but we're gonna throw Konosuba in the C tier.
What does everybody in chat think? It seems like there's a couple of people who have watched
feel the
it
same way.
Like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling what I said. Somebody said the movie was good. I actually didn't watch the movie. I think I missed the movie. Some people were saying Aqua was annoying. Yeah. So it seems like there is no issue with everybody saying that it can go in C, so we can just leave it there. If somebody comes in and it's like, yo, what the hell? My favorite show is in C? Question mark. then we'll
just spoke up. You should have joined the conversation.
You should have been here at the beginning. You'll now go leave a comment on the YouTube channel. So
yeah, let us know. But yeah, Vix. All right, I guess we'll go on to the next anime.
Next one. All right, Kaiju number 8.
Whoa!
Time for Kaiju. I'm going to say my one issue with the show, and then the rest of it will be positive. My one issue with the show is how weirdly flat the human characters look.
Okay, I mean,
that's the one issue I got. Nobody's being weird. Nobody's being like uncomfortable. Everybody seems like they're reasonable people. I like the sassy personality of the Kikoru. I think that's her name. I like her. Kafka is cool. Blade guy, I forget his name. He's so cool. Dual blade.
Himeno? Is it Himeno?
Something like that.
It's something with H.
He is cool. Like I like all of the characters. And with one of it was either this last episode or the episode before. Spoilers. You get 1 second to turn off the volume. I'll go for 20 seconds. Bring it back. That was your chance. They Kafka reveals himself to be the kaiju number 8 in front of everybody, and they are like, they're cool with it. Like, they understand that this ain't the fucking time to be fucking around. Like, if he is not looking at us, I am not gonna fight him right now. This is not the time. We got other important things to work on. So that was really cool that a lot of the characters are like really down to earth. They are good at assessing the situation. They are not going like off the walls bonkers. They're understanding that this potential threat could also potentially be on their side. So I think the characters are like more realistic in that way. Like, a lot of the issue that I've had with the older anime is that people are just like so quick to just turn on somebody that like they just saved your life. Give them a little bit of slack.
But you lied to me. I can't believe that you would lie to me. I can't trust you.
Like, caution that they have to go through because like you've literally fought kaiju your entire life. But in a lot of older animes, they're straight up like, all right, time to kill you. It's your time. Yeah, I know you just saved my life, but I'm gonna kill you now. And
yeah,
in this one, they were like, even though what they said was still like hostile, it was bad. It was like a reasonable level where they were like, I'm gonna bring you in and not I'm going to kill you. So it's like that makes a lot more sense.
Dude, okay. I'm gonna go to fuck off on kaiju. I know I've been kind of quiet the majority of the podcast because a lot of the anime I haven't seen this year. So I was mostly just, I'm here being a good co-host. I'm teeing my boy up. But kaiju number 8 is my shit. So when kaiju number 8 first dropped on Shonen Jump Plus, I was reading the manga from day one, and I was like, "Yo, this art looks amazing. I think this will be cool. I hope it doesn't die." And I've been reading kaiju number 8 weekly ever since. Yeah, you might as well throw that some bitch up there and fucking Demon Slayer, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, you want
Demon Slayer, get the fuck up out of here. I want the shit at the motherfucking top. I love kaiju number 8.
Right now, there is 2 on this list that's going to be kaiju.
I'm fine with that, but right now, kaiju number 8 is on my top list because the thing with kaiju number 8, and in all honesty, I'm being 100% honest. Everything that Vic said was 100% true. And the thing, my favorite moment, kaiju number 8, that really fucking stuck with me was 100% that moment. That moment that we just talked about. I won't go over it again because it was a spoiler, but the fact that moment was handled realistically by adults who were calm and measured in that decision and handled it in the best way possible. You see the main character looking at the character that's looking at him, and you see he's just like resigned to his fate.
I get it.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no other way that this could have gone. So you made a good choice, and he's like, I'm gonna roll with it.
It's so perfect, and I'm not gonna lie, because again, kaiju number 8.
That he's always like, I'm sorry, Ichikawa, I have to. And he does it like all the freaking time.
All the fucking time, but then they pay it off, and I'm just like, it was so good because I was like, this is early. Like, I read it in the manga. When this shit happened in the manga, I was just like,
it felt like
I thought they were gonna do this for a while.
That secret forever.
Yeah, I was just like, when it happened in the manga, I was just like, oh my god, I'm so fucking hyped because this elevates everything else. I was like, well, how is this going to, play out? What are they going to do? What's going to happen from here? And then you see it play out in the manga. I'm just like, oh my god, that's so interesting. So I'm so like, if you're just anime only in kaiju number 8, holy shit, is it only going to get better from here? Because there's so much interesting stuff that spawns from the most recent episode. Actually, the most recent episode, I'm my episode behind right now.
For their fights, man. Who especially Hoshino, I think his name is, the sword guy. His fights specifically, that shit is going to be epic.
I'm so excited for kaiju number 8. It has been amazing. The animation has been incredible. Hoshino versus kaiju number 8, aka Kafka, was great. That was so awesome. Them bouncing around the city and going back and forth and toe to toe. I love Hoshino as a character in general. I love how goofy he is and how he gets this weird relationship with Kafka about how jokey he is.
They gave him the correct aura that it was like he's like Brock, where it's like his eyes are always closed, and then he like opens them a little bit, and you're like, yeah. It's over.
It's serious because when he first shows, because like Kafka's is like, oh, he's so goofy or whatever. But when he first shows like why he's the fucking second in command,
like
he's just like, I handle medium-sized threats, dude. So sick. And I love the little like sit rep that we get with all the other characters like Ishikawa and everybody else, like Reno, Ishikawa, and everybody in their like little brotherships that they all get. Whereas like Ishikawa and I forget his name, I think it's Reno, the dude with the shark teeth, and they're like measuring each other off of each other's skills and like helping each other grow. There's the military dude and the rich dude where they become like bros and they're like pushing each other to be better. I fucking love Kaiju number 8. It's everything I love about anime. It's good action. It's fantastic characters.
I think what makes it like extra good is a lot of the bonds that characters have made weren't all with specifically the main character.
Yep.
A lot of them have like their own deal going on. Like while Ichikawa and Igoru,
I think it's Reno,
like,
whatever the hell his name is.
Kafka, there is the other two dudes that are like you said, the military dude and the other guy. They're like, they don't give a fuck about them three. It's just the two of them, and they're competing with each other. They're not worried about the main character. They have their own deal going on. And then there's, I think his name is Reno, and he's going against Ichikawa, and Ichikawa's like,
oh no,
Ichikawa's like, bro, I don't even care.
Yeah, Ichikawa is Reno's like first name, I guess, Ichikawa's first name is Reno. The shark tooth guy is Uharu.
Yeah, him.
So Uharu with Shark Dude with the pompadour or whatever, like him. Yes, so good.
He picked the wrong person to like have a contest with because Ichikawa's like, man, if you can get stronger, do it.
Dude, I love that because you got like the hot-blooded like anime male character and then like the cool, calm dude. We're just like, I'm gonna get better than you. You won't outpace me. And Ichikawa just like, great. You will make a better team that way. He's just like mad. He's like, no, compete with me. Like, I love their relationship, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Kaiju number 8 is fantastic. If you're not watching Kaiju number 8, you're doing yourself a disservice. Watch Kaiju number 8. It is Kaiju number great. Go watch it now.
And then
all right, S tier. Yeah, we'll move on to the next anime. I can talk about Kaiju number 8 till the fucking cows come home. But we will go to the next one.
All right, I'm gonna controversial pick here. I'm gonna override everybody in chat. This Jobless Reincarnation, I'm putting this at the top.
Oh, okay.
This one is number 1 with the final episode of this season that just came out. This shit is number 1. I don't care. Like it was so good. It was so good. There was a fight that the whole thing is a fucking spoiler.
Yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say.
So
I'm not caught up. This sucks because Jobless Reincarnation is really good. Yeah, Mashoko Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Really good show.
Bunch of episodes were so fucking good. They showed.
I gotta catch up.
Paul's humanity. They showed Rudy's like ability to remain calm. They showed the party's the party's like bond with each other. You got a couple of them got reintroduced together. It was so good. And then the end, like the ending was so. I can't say how so it was.
I'm going to be marathoning Mashoko Tensei. I'm sorry that I got behind. I'm a busy boy and I'm constantly doing shit. But it's on the next one list. I'm watching Frieren. So I'm trying to finish Frieren and then watch all of Mashoko Tensei. Like, cause I got anime that I watch weekly that are in the season, and the anime that I marathon and what free time I have. So I'm working one marathon at a time, man. Bear with me, but I know stuff because I seen shit. Cause taking a tack-toe can't fucking stop spoiling me on shit. So I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see
the opening to this season of Jobless Reincarnation. Kind of hints at what happens like towards the end. What the really cool thing is in the opening. So yeah. I'm gonna mention it because it's in the opening. And as long as you've seen episode 1 of this season, this is technically not a spoiler. You can see Rudy and Paul and the party all together fighting this like creature. That fight is epic.
Okay, I'm excited.
Fucking awesome. They really bring everybody's like potential right to the front. Everybody shows their stuff except for one guy. He's just kind of there, and it's almost funny. He doesn't do fuck all.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's like supposed to do. Like, he doesn't do anything, but reasonably, he can't do anything. So it's like, you're here and we appreciate you. But everybody else is like, they're pulling out all the stops. Paul goes like next level combatant, like you've never seen. This Rudy is like, Rudy and Roxy both get to like, they have their first like interaction as equals, where they can like really theorize about how to fight the monster, and it's so fucking good. It's really, honestly, Paul. I joked about this on the father's tier list about him being on the tier list, but Paul was the star here. Paul was the star. I won't say he's the MVP because it's probably still Rudy, but he was the star. He really is what made this season like end so powerfully. If you've seen the end of the season, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, just know that he is the one to keep your eyes on. He is so good.
I need to catch up, man. I'm so behind on so much stuff. I'm trying, y'all. I wanted to keep up with the seasonal stuff because of the
There's
podcast.
only so much epic you can watch at once. Hey, you got
because I'm watching
5 seasons of Don Machi.
I'm watching Don Machi.
Classroom of the Elite. You're crossing out all of the S tiers, and you're getting there.
I'm marathoning so much shit, dude.
We're just weeding out the trash for you. Everything at the end of the seasons, we're just gonna do these tier lists. Anything in S or A, watch those ones. Anything else, you can probably dismiss it.
Yeah, so I'm slowly but surely getting through everything, but it's been a blast. I really enjoy Mushoku Tensei. I know we bring up a lot of the asterisks for different shows. Mushoku Tensei has that as well. Honestly, I want to get your opinion on it. How do you feel that Rudy's has grown this season?
How did Rudy grow? I don't think Rudy grew that much. It's not about Rudy this time. I think he is like, he's in a pretty reasonable spot. I think he makes a small self-discovery, kind of like, he kind of realizes that he still saw himself as like the fat guy from the previous world or from his previous life, but it's not about him. The last fight was just so much not Rudy. It was just Rudy. Rudy's like there, but it's the people in the world kind of grow more than Rudy does. It's definitely weird to say that the season was as good as it was without saying that the character grew much at all. He's pretty much still like right in there. Like he doesn't get any better than he was at Magic. There wasn't a lot to push him in the sense to change. It was Paul and how Paul reacted so human that made him like look inward, and he will grow from here, but this season he didn't grow that much.
Okay.
But it was Paul that really put an emphasis on everything. So
that's my thing, is like, I feel like the only real negative thing about Mushoku Tensei is Rudy's character's portrayal in certain moments that kind of just like, but that's like early Mushoku Tensei, right?
Yeah.
And he changes and he grows as a character throughout the show.
Like weird moments still. Like when he reunites with Roxy this season, he's got like a moment that it's like, that was a little weird. Especially considering this. I don't know if this is a spoiler. I'm pretty sure this happened last season or the end of last season, where I'm gonna say it, potential spoiler. Can't remember exactly when this happened, but he got married to Sylphie.
I think that might be start of the season.
It was either start of this season. It was definitely spoken about last season. I don't know if he actually did it, but how he reunited with Roxy was a little extra weird because he was married. So it was like,
oh Lord,
I thought you were past that. Last core current season. Okay, so it was part 1. This is part 2. Okay, so it was part 1 that he did the marrying thing. Yeah, there was a moment. There was one moment that was a little weird. Otherwise, it was fine.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. It's just like there's
Paul also I guess, kind of makes a sideways comment that it was more like a metaphor or something, but it was more like reference to his life as opposed to like real life. What he says, don't take it out of the anime. In the context of the world, it's still a little weird, but from what he's already been through and like how things have gone, it was more or less okay. I don't fully agree with it, but like I get it. I get what he was saying. So
I mean, once I see it, I guess we could talk about it in a little bit more context. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. For the love of God, I'm trying. I'm working on some stuff. Some plans, machinations, but I will be caught up. We'll be able to talk about some stuff because we need to do like spoiler cast. We need to do like a podcast where we just talk about this shit with everybody because Mushoku Tensei, for all of its weird
we can take the S tiers and we can talk about the spoilers from those.
Yeah, because it's like the Mushoku Tensei, for all of his weird shit, and I'm glad they took out some of the stuff that was in the novel. We won't get into that right now because I think it makes the show better to me.
Knowing about what could potentially happen from the light novel.
Yeah.
No, this season was so fucking good, and knowing what I know about what could potentially come up makes it so that this absurdly good season was a build-up.
Whew.
And I was like, oh my god, it can. Oh, if they go down the route that I think they're going, it is gonna be absolutely insane. Oh, but I hope they do it. It gets so dark so fast, but I hope they do it.
Oh Lord.
But I mean, like, it's gonna be so good. Is what I was talking about. If you were here live, you got to hear us talk about it on the pre-show, the dark timeline. So fingers crossed that is what they animate, and then they fix it somehow, because I don't actually know if they fix it or not. So yeah, dark timelines. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Well, again, Mushoku Tensei has always been the highlight of every season. So I'm glad to see this still killing it. I will be caught up soon. But what's the next anime, Vix?
Next one. So I read the manga for this one and thought it was pretty good. It was like it's kind of in the same vein as like Overlord and SAO kind of mixed together. It's called The New Gate. It's called The New Gate. Because if you put in New Gate, a different anime comes up. So
Edward Newgate comes up. One Piece.
I liked it. I don't. It's hard to say that it's like super good. It's like fine, you know. Like if I had to rate it, probably B, probably bottom of B. Like fine. I definitely didn't like it as much as Seventh Prince or My Hero. But it's like okay, I guess. It's just so hard to place it. It's done. It's just the culmination of everything that's already been done. So each individual thing is like fine, but it's like I've already seen this. He's like trapped in this game world that is somehow like real life now, which is kind of like Overlord. He's brokenly overpowered, like kind of like how he is an Overlord, but instead of like being evil, he's just really nonchalant about a lot of things, and it's like, you shouldn't be doing that. But a lot of times he's like, it's like you don't know that, and there a lot of the like in-game functions still work. So it's kind of weird that it's like the real world, but it's like not the real world. But he's like really overpowered. He has like a computerized inventory system. The skills are still obtained by doing like achievements and stuff. So it's like, it's interesting that it's kind of just like watching somebody play a game. I'd say like you're watching somebody play an RPG, but you're starting at like level 100. And so you're dropped into this game world where you don't know anything about it. And the person that you're watching is level 100. That's pretty much how it is. And you're like, there's a lot going on here. And then like nobody else in the game is like, wow, how did you do that? So I think it's like fine. Chat says high B. If we put this higher than My Hero, I'm okay with, but it will not go higher than Seventh Prince. If you want it to be top of B, Seventh Prince.
Well, it doesn't have to be top. It could just be high B. If you want to put it over My Hero, yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think I'd still. Well, I think the only reason that I didn't want to watch My Hero was because I already read the manga. So I was always like, I already know. So it was hard to like really buckle down and watch it, but like I still think I liked it more than the New Gate. I didn't think I have any particular issue with it other than it was just generic. It's very generic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you get that with Isekai every season. It's just like, oh, this is fun. This is a good ride or whatever. But then it's just like, it's kind of, it's just Isekai. All right. I'm in a fantasy world and I'm overpowered. We've seen that song and dance so much. But yeah, we can head on over to the next anime.
Unless chat has anything else, I'm going to leave it kind of low B here. Otherwise, chat, you have to collectively agree to move 7th up to A, and then I'll put it I'll put it at top of B.
Yeah, write me a
Those are the 2 spots.
5-paragraph essay in MLA format, and then we'll move it.
On a 500-word essay, it's delivered to my Discord DMs by the morn. But yeah, so the next one, I am going to put it bottom of A. It is.
Wait. Is that slime?
Yeah, it is slime. Is that time I was reincarnated as a slime? I'm gonna put it bottom of A. It was a good season. However, it was a build-up season. It was like the most build-up season ever. Like most of the season was just them having political meetings, which I'm fine with. Like it's fine. There was a couple of moments that were like kind of high tier. You got to see Diablo be a little bit more Diablo. Other than that, not a lot happened. It was good. It was still animated well. There was a weird misunderstanding that was like, what the fuck happened? But then they cleared it up by the end, and I was like, okay, I get it. But it's still, most of it was political meetings. Hard to put it any higher than bottom of A.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm this season behind on Slime. I really love Slime. I really enjoy it. The
Honestly,
turn from the early...
So little happens in this season. You can probably put this one on the back burner and not really miss anything.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it is just like establishing borders at this point. Because they, with Rimuru becoming the Demon Lord, he with this season claimed his like domain, which was the Jura Forest. Now he has to like kind of lay the borders down and establish connections. We have our resident weeb in chat that's trying to leave because of the next one coming up. Hurt his feelings.
I didn't even realize that. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun.
But yeah, Slime probably bottom of A. It probably won't go any higher than that. But definitely an A1 still. Next season will probably be better. I haven't read the manga and I haven't read the light novel. And I don't know much about it beyond this, but it was a pretty decent like setup season. So like there's a lot of not much happening in anime this season. A lot of it was just preparing for the next season. So that was one of them. I'm gonna leave it at bottom of A. Chat seems to be okay with A. If anybody has any issues with it, comments down below. If you're over here in chat, we'll see you right here. Otherwise, we're gonna move right on to the next one. Bro, do you have any final words for Slime, or do we want to move on to the next one?
No, we can move on to the next one. Slime's great. I love me some Slime.
Time to hurt Nova's feelings. Remonster.
Let's go. Remonster. Okay, so can I start with this one?
Go ahead. Take it away.
So, and I'm not going to go too hard on this, even though I normally do, because again, this was recommended by our resident anime aficionado, Nova, because he had read the manga. So he was, telling us about it and like getting us excited for the anime. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll check out everything that I can this season, as much as I can. And so I started watching Remonster. In the first episode, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is interesting. I'm excited because there's like a lot of interesting concepts for an isekai, right? As far as like, oh, the main character, he came from another world, but he wasn't from Japan in modern day. He was kind of weird demon guy, assassins. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then now he's a goblin. You get to see him grow up and go through all the stuff.
Ogre variant now.
Well, now yes, but at first he was just a dumb little goblin baby. And then just watching him grow and change again. Like I said before, I'm a meathead shonen guy. I love me a good training arc and getting to see him progress and train and hang out with the other goblins and see them progress and grow in their goblin society and see how everything works, how everything different. I was really enjoying it. Then I don't know what the fuck happened. It was like episode 3 or 4. I feel like they skipped a bunch of shit. I think Nova even told us that they skipped a bunch of stuff. And then I was just like, well, I'm still enjoying it.
Too. I have a lot of issues with this anime. I don't know how much of it translates from the manga, but I have a lot of issues with this anime.
Yeah, because like that was one of the things that really hit me, because the animation quality did drop, where it started becoming like a slideshow at times. And then like even the opening of the show was fine, but even that felt like they didn't really put that much effort into the opening. And then like I was watching anime episodes and like pretty much like around the bear fight, I felt like they kind of like started cutting back on the animation. The last episode I watched was the fuck party, the episode where yeah, like that with the dryad and then all the women in their like goblin camp.
That was one of the things that I like kind of took issue with, was like, that was weird, right?
Like, it just felt unnecessary. I was just like,
he went to the Dryads, which everybody was saying was dangerous because like they fuck everything in sight.
They fuck the life out of you.
He goes up there willingly, gets fucked beyond reason, gets the libido skill. Somehow doesn't even make sense. He only gets abilities through eating shit. How did he get that? The Dryads not missing anything. You think drinking the juice was enough?
Eating the triosi, you know what I
mean? Yeah, that had to have been it. He got libido as a skill, and now he fucks 25 people a day.
Yeah, so it just kind of like, it started off interesting and fun for what it was. I didn't take it too seriously. And then it just felt like they just like stopped giving a fuck, and they were just like, all right, we're just doing a bunch of random shit. And I was like, all right, you know, whatever. And I just kind of just dropped it.
I had this discussion in my Discord with Nova already, where it, from the anime specifically, it just felt like really bad slime.
Yeah.
Like how they both got their ability was Rimuru would eat or consume enemies with gluttony, which then turned into Beelzebub. And then dude would eat would just straight up eat things, and then he would they said in the anime that there was a chance that he would get an ability, but every single time he ate anything he ended up with like 25 new skills. And not like at some point he ends up eating a legendary weapon so that he can summon that. And I'm like, what? And then he straight up says, I don't really know what this does. So, and then he uses it, and I'm like, what? There was just like so many things that, and this is, I guess, a spoiler. This is terrible. Towards the end, two of the humans were just randomly pregnant. I was like, apparently goblins are like, even within human mothers are birthed very quickly. There was like no signs. They had like a day, and then the children were birthed, and
because they keep track of the days in the show. They're like, and you get the day.
Got 4 kids, so the first 2 were born as twins, and then like 2 days later, 2 other people were pregnant that both gave birth in like a day, but this time one was an ogre variant and one was a human child, like a full human child. So 3 of his sons were aging at the rate of goblins, and then there was just 1 baby. And during this trip, they don't show him, they don't even reference him fucking anybody at any point. They're just like, I'm pregnant, and you're like, huh? Wait. What happened? And they're like, yeah, it's coming out like right now. And you're like, but you just got pregnant. And they're like, it's here. We better pull over.
What the fuck?
I was so lost. I was like, did I miss something? I don't know if they put it in the novel or the manga or something, but in the anime, they just fully skipped that part. They're like, oh yeah, there's supposed to be children here. Birth. I was like, that felt like it was a little bit more important than they made it. I personally didn't really care for the way that he gained his powers. Him just chomping on shit felt really dumb. The fact that they mentioned that it was supposed to be a chance and then he just always got it. Dude was the reincarnation of luck. Every potentially rare being to ever exist falls at his
was right
feet,
in his backyard.
right there. Repeatedly, he finds a sacred beast that he is straight up like, I only have a 30% chance of beating that, and that thing is just like, I'm gonna give you part of my body and leave. And I was like, what? I did not like it at all. There was so many issues. The pacing was weird. Powers were dumb. Dude, they kept making his like best friend supposed to be his like rival, but at no point were you ever like, oh yeah, dude is like on par with main character.
Yeah.
Like they kept having spars and they were making it look like it was close. And then just to seal the deal, in the last like sparring session where it was almost close, The best friend got like a little overexcited, and he almost hit the people spectating. And then the main character just like fucking smacked him down like it was no big deal, and it was like, oh, so you was just playing this whole time. Like that, at the end there,
you were just goofing.
Like, dude went full on meteor nuke, ready to kill everything in sight, and not only did main character block it, he then just like beat him down right afterwards. And I was like, well, dude did a whole evolution to try to keep up with you, and you made him look like a bitch. And I don't even know why he thinks that he's like somehow close to MC, but he is not. And it's like, you can't though. Dude gets a literally unlimited number of powers. How are you supposed to keep up with that?
Because like every well, I guess they don't know about it, but yeah, every time he eats one thing, he gets like multiple powers.
Yeah, I was like, they should know about it. And every time he gets a power, he tries it right there.
I mean, that is true.
They know. And when dude is like fighting, like the last time, Oguro never pulls out his like insect carcass thing. So it's like, obviously he's not trying. Everybody knows he has it. It's just, I just find it even hard to believe that it was decent as a manga from what I've seen. Even with all the stuff cut out, the end result is still bad. So I know Nova likes the manga novel a lot, but I struggle to see where the decency in it could come from. It was, it's honestly shocking. I made it all the way to the end of the season.
Yeah, because I mean, my whole thing was just I just dropped it. I just didn't feel like, from what I was hearing, what everybody was saying, the way Nova spoke about how they were kind of like butchering the adaptation, I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time. Like you guys have probably seen, I watch a lot of anime this season, so why was I gonna keep watching that? So I just kind of dropped it, and it could continue watching other stuff.
It did not get any better.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't have time. So that was my main thing. It could have been interesting. Maybe the manga is good, and I might give it a check out since I have some time during work to read instead of watch anime. So I might try to see if I can find it somewhere, and just to get an understanding, and maybe give it like a follow up to this in a later podcast. Just be like, oh, you know, they did kind of butcher the adaptation, because that happens. That legitimately does happen with a lot of anime. Where it's like, oh no, the manga is fantastic. You watch anime adaptation, and it completely fucking ruin it. So, you know, maybe that's the case with Remonsters, but kind of like Vix is saying, I don't know where the redeeming part comes from. Like, unless they just did a whole different story and we just got to see some garbage that the anime studio made up. Like, I don't know how it really changes. so I'll do the digging. I'll do the footwork, and then we'll see it. And maybe I'll be able to do on one podcast. We'll just have a follow up for Remonster, because I'm actually curious to see what it went wrong. You know what I mean?
I feel like Nova needs to drop the Nova notes, spoilers and all, because like we've gone over it and everything, but I still, even from what he's told me, I still don't see, like, unless the anime is strictly going in a different direction than the manga or light novel, there's no way that this is good, like, or at least as good as he made it out to be. He made it sound like this was going to be like A or S tier show, and then for it to be as bad as it is, it was kind of surprising. I was like, dude, it's gotta have some kind of endpoint that I can resonate with, and they just kept doing random crap like the whole time.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, when is it going to have like a direction? Like, what are they doing other than him just be like, me get strong?
Direction by becoming like a mercenary guild. But even that doesn't have a direction, because the one person who wants to hire them is like, I'm going to hire you kind of whenever I feel like it. And it's like, so what did they do in the meantime?
Fuck. Fuck, make baby.
Apparently fucking make babies. It only takes like 2 days.
Womp womp.
So when a male ogre really loves a female human.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm fine with the placement of Remonster. It sucks because, you know, I was hoping for something really good, but I guess they screwed the pooch on this one, so it kind of just is what it is. But Vix, I think we've said our piece. Nova, you can come back. People arrive, come back. And we're gonna head on over to the next anime.
This one.
What's the next one, Vix?
I'm gonna make this real short. I'm almost certain you didn't watch this one. I
Nope.
watched it for 2 episodes. Immediately dropped it. 2
Damn.
episodes. What is this even called? Banished Hero or something?
Damn, you don't even
banished
remember?
former hero lived as he pleases. That is the only one I dropped this season. E tier dropped below D tier. I couldn't even tell you what was wrong. It was just bad from the beginning. It was like the character design was not very good. It felt uncomfortable. The way people interacted with each other was a little weird. The animation was like really bad. I don't know what happened. Every single second was uncomfortable to watch. I was thoroughly unhappy the entire time that I watched the 2 episodes. Normally I'll give it like the 3 episode minimum. I do my best, but this one was rough. It was bad. It was bad to start with. And Nova didn't even give me the Nova notes to hold me out. He told me straight up that it was bad to begin with, and I was like, damn. All right, to the trash heap. So that's all I got to say. It was bad in every aspect that I could think of. It felt bad. It was not fun to watch. Character design was weird. No saving grace on that one. Dropped it. 2 episodes. Moving on.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't got shit to say. Fuck that shit. I want to talk about the hype. I want to talk about
the second one to go higher than Kaiju, Windbreakers. Dude. Coming out of fucking nowhere.
No fucking where.
This one,
so can I talk about it?
I was like, I'm gonna watch this one as like my background, whatever the fuck anime. I was like, I don't give a hell. I don't give not one damn about Windbreakers. And then I watched the first episode and was like, damn it, it's good.
I felt because it's like the complete opposite with Kaiju, right? I love Kaiju. I read the manga. I already knew that was gonna be fucking hype as fuck. I was so excited. And Windbreakers was just like the sleeper hit of the season. I didn't expect anything from it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of kids. They're gonna be fighting, whatever. It's just gonna be some dumb shit, like typical anime, whatever. I watched that first episode and I saw the animation and I saw Sakura and he was talking about his backstory about how people didn't like him because of the way that he looked and the way that he acted.
Weirdly bashful was still kind of like refreshing.
I loved it. I love that he's like a weird tsundere, where if anybody ever compliments him or shows him any like affection or kindness, he's just like, I don't know how to react. Everybody in my life treated me like shit. Yeah. I don't understand this.
It does get a little bit like weird that he just like never gets over it. Even towards the end, he still is like trying to battle against his bashfulness. But
I love it.
I don't hate it. It's
I love it, and I especially like.
But I definitely
what's her damn name? Where's she at? Fucking egg making girl. What is her damn name? I'm trying to find it.
The cafe girl.
Yeah, cafe girl. I forget her damn name.
I know it starts with a K. I forgot her name too.
I'm literally looking at a list, but it's just showing all the dudes. Yeah, this is the most like I don't know. Sometimes I'll be like, man, they try to fuck, but sometimes it gets like too much. Like, yeah, we the boys just hanging out and being boys. I'm just like, all right.
I really liked her introduction. She
was awesome.
She was being like cornered by a bunch of strange men and whatever. She was still like standing up for herself. She was like a very strong-willed person. She's kind down to the soul. She was supportive without being too direct. Definitely, her character design was also pretty good.
Yeah, she looks awesome. She looks awesome, and I love the whole bit of her being like, Sakura being like, "How old are you?" He's like, "I thought you were old as hell," and she's like, "I'm the same age as you." And like, she looks like an adult, and she acts so mature.
She's, like, so mature and whatever.
Like that shit made me laugh.
Yeah, so I wish that they gave her a little bit more screen time, but she does make recurring appearances, so she's in there a reasonable amount, enough to be relevant, but not enough to like change the course of the story, which is fine because it's not really about her anyway. She's kind of more like a storytelling tool, while still being like valuable as a person.
She's like Sakura's fucking Jiminy Cricket, because she's like constantly giving her like lessons.
Yeah,
kind of like the fucking like the top dog fucking Hajime Umemiya.
He's cool
He's
as
so
hell, man. I
good,
love
dude.
him.
I love how goofy he is. I love me a good goofy character that can switch it. One of my favorite things about him is not just that he's like a comedy, like he has like that comedic relief. Like, I remember like when you first see him, like, or when you first hear him before you even see him, and he's doing like the school announcement, and he's just like, wait, what am I supposed to be saying?
Busts in through the announcement and it's just like mega loud, and he's like
Yeah.
really goofy.
And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then when they see him for the first time on the building, and you got the long hair dude, like the big bruiser dude,
I like him.
Shukshita, like he's just like, oh, I love him, I
Gorilla
respect him so much, or
man.
whatever.
He's
Yeah,
like
caveman
weirdly
man.
obsessed with him for some reason. I don't get it.
So like when you first meet him, I'm just like, dude, this dude's cool. Like he's just sitting there being like, oh, my tomato plants. Like everybody's like talking about real shit with the turf war. I was like, this dude just so laid back. It's awesome. And then when the fucking like war happens, well, not really the war, but the trial
brawl.
of combat. Yeah, the brawl between the two groups.
Dude,
that shit was
all of
awesome.
Those fights were sick.
I
animation
love the
was, like,
message that like Umemiya
so
drops, where he's just
good.
like, yeah, he was just like, you got to
The first
learn to
time that
speak with your
Umemiya
fist.
Put his aura out there, and everybody was like, "All right, I'm gonna sit down."
Ooh, it was so good. It was so good.
Oh, you're that.
I was like, he
kinda
the top dog for a reason. He the top dog for a
'cause
reason. So
you're
like when I was watching,
I was ready for him to be like a goofy fighter. And then when it was like time to get serious and he laid out like the demonic aura, I was like, oh, okay. But then
Yeah, I was like,
you don't fuck around when it comes time to break
Yeah.
down the business.
dude, it was so good. I love how he was trying to educate them, because like Sakura's whole thing is like, I'm here to be the top dog. I'm here to be the strongest, and he's strong as fuck in his own right. That first episode with him fighting all the dudes in the big brawl before
Right.
the rest of the Furin guys come in was fucking sick.
But it was
The
his
animation
lack
in
of
the fights is so
experience
good.
that was holding him back, and Umemiya
Yeah.
is guiding him.
Woo!
I
So
love how
good.
like airheaded Umemiya is though, because he's like went after the brawls and he's like, in order to make it to the top, I had people carry me there. And he's like, well, in order for me to be the top, doesn't that mean you have to lose? And he's like, oh, so I guess it does.
He's like, yeah, I guess you're gonna beat my ass.
Did you?
But I'm just like, God, I love these guys. Like all of the main cast so far have been incredible. I love how distinct they are. I love their fighting styles. Like everybody has their own unique fight style. The best one, like I've enjoyed all the fights so far. Hayato, the dude who has like the Wing Chun, like Chinese martial arts style to do with the eye patch.
Suo, he was my favorite
Woo!
too. Well,
He's so sick.
I'll say my favorite part about his fight is actually how fucking disrespectful that was.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And he has like these little slick ass comments. Like when they went out to eat and he was just like, you didn't eat a lot. He was like, yeah, I'm on a diet. And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, you're just fighting and beating everybody's ass. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and then when they introduced like the other two dudes, like the pink purple hair dude, and then the guy with
Yeah.
like the 80s
Afro.
they like he just was standing in the back, and at first it seems like he's just not doing anything. All the way up until somebody rushes over and he does like the spin thing.
Redirect your momentum.
God, fuck! You just standing there. You gotta be cool as hell. You did one
he's like-
thing.
He's the best because he's like, I'm here. I'm directing all this shit, and if anything happens, I got it.
Because you know,
like that's how you
he's like standing there as like protection for. I think it was the girl, right? That was with the purple haired guy.
Yeah, it was the girl that like the other student. Yeah, it's like the purple haired dude went on a date with her, but he's protecting her. And I was like, that was such a nice little bait and switch. Cause I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a sleaze bag, and they're gonna have to beat his ass up. But he's like, no, I'm trying to protect too. And it's breaking so good, man. Like it speaks to my man heart.
I love all the characters. Like I thought the purple haired dude was gonna be like really annoying.
Yeah,
and he's just like he's so chill. And he kept like during the fight kept throwing everybody at Sakura, and he's like, hey, why are you throwing everybody over here? And he's like, I thought it would just be easier if we just threw them all to you.
But what I love about that, because normally what you would have is just like the Kuwabara Yusuke moment where it's like, hey, dipshit, like why you doing this or whatever. Like you have that for a second, and then Sakura's just like, wait,
no, it's cool. I just wanted.
Yeah, he's like,
I just thought it'd be
you're
funnier.
relying. He's like, yeah, because dude, he's like, you're relying on me, and Sakura likes it. So he's just like, no, send him. I got it. I'm strong enough, dude. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy every time another episode comes out, dude.
Yeah, I like everything about it. The character designs are all unique, refreshing, and like very distinct They also kind of like flip it on its head a little bit. Like, you don't think that a lot of them are gonna act the way that they look. Like Sakura looks, you know, like he's standoffish, which he is until like somebody compliments him, and then he just like falls apart. Umemiya being really goofy, looks kind of goofy, and then when he pulls out the aura and like it's like such a drastic change. The dude with the afro, he's pretty much the only one that's like on point with his looks, where he's just like really
fucking idiot.
He's like, hell yeah, let's fight, man, let's go.
Yeah, but my favorite part was when they were in the cafe and he was just like, hey, I want to talk to you. He's like trying to like talk to other guys.
I want to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, and then like he's being like kind of like a lot, and dude's like, hey man, calm down, like you're scaring the girl. And I was waiting for him to be like, what do you mean, like be clueless? And he was like, I'm so sorry. He started whispering. He's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm a big guy. I could be scary sometimes. I didn't mean to do it. I was like, oh my, I love them all, man. I love them all.
Everybody's sort of like subverts your expectations. Like, you have one way that you're looking at it. The dude with the shark teeth tries to be like real tough. And then every time that he fights, he has to pull out the freaking gut medication.
The fucking Tums.
Yeah,
he just
every time he
Tums
fights
all the
or
time.
somebody says anything like off the wall, he's like, all right, I need my Tums. I'm out of stomach medication. He's like popping pills.
It's so relatable, man. Stress will kill you.
Like, how did you get to be one of the four kings? What happened here?
Well, he's stressing for as much as fucking Hajime don't stress.
Yeah,
he's like, dude, it's so good. Windbreakers is fucking phenomenal. If you like martial arts, if you like fighting, if you like fun, interesting characters,
standard,
if you
like straight street beat 'em ups, this is the one.
Woo! Not Fist of North Star, but Streets of Rage. If you like fucking beat 'em ups, watch Windbreakers. It's fucking incredible. It's a fun, interesting, goofy concept. Like if you look at the concept under a microscope of there's a town that just has street wars and there's two high schools or high schools that run all the different turfs, it could be really goofy, but it's a fun setup. An interesting premise with a bunch of great characters, amazing animation, with some of the best like Rocky machismo moments. I'll just be like, yo, you need to learn to speak with this person through your fist and have that conversation. And you get, because in a fight, like I don't know if you've ever been in a fight or if you know anybody who listens ever been in a fight, you do gain a certain sense of respect, even if you hated the person you're fighting against. Beating the shit out of somebody and getting beat, you gain a certain sense of respect for that person because you went toe-to-toe with them with your fist. And I love that they kind of like play that up as a motif in Windbreakers. Like, you need to understand this person, but the only way you're gonna understand because you're a rockhead is you gotta go get your head lumped up a little bit. But through that fight, you guys will be able to understand each other because you're laying it all out there bare for each other and you're holding nothing back. And that moment between fucking casual, oh my God, glasses dude, or he kept calling him Othello. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, the second command at the other thing.
Other school, the yellow people school.
I like how they relate Sakura to like the number one of the opposing school, because he's like, that would have been me. He's Sakura straight up like, I was only there to prove myself. I was there for self-recognition and nothing else. He's like, I could have been that, but he's like in a spiral of self-doubt that Umemiya is like directing him out of. He's like, I see that you're struggling here. Here's my advice. And none of it is like, do as I say. Is all like, this is what you should think about. The like grade captain thing is kind of weird. The headphone dude, he straight up took offense to it when he's like, why are you even here? And he was like, he stood up and he's like, I am ready to beat the living shit out of you right now.
I got so hyped.
I was like, oh. And then he turned around and I was like, I don't know if that's good or bad. So Windbreakers definitely had me on the edge of my seat, like a lot. I had a lot of respect for a lot of the characters. They're very interesting, well designed. I don't particularly like Gorilla Man. I don't like the don't speak, just hit type of characters very much.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I mean, like I get it. I see why other people could like him. I don't personally like him, but I feel like that's almost the point. But
yeah, I like him. I'm excited to see.
So I'll tell you, I judge. Okay, I'll say it. I judge. I judge on appearances a little bit. The having like a whole bunch of face piercings always puts me like on edge because every time I see somebody like that, they're always mean as fuck to me. And like, so I'm always ready for them to just be like a total dick. And then when dude with the purple hair came on, he had like a whole bunch of piercings. I was like, oh no. And then he was like really chill. I'm like, that was not what I was expecting.
Don't judge a book by its cover. I learned that with Little Kid Isekai or whatever the fuck, and you gotta learn that with Windbreaker.
I mean, I'm always open for them to like change my mind. Like, I'm not gonna lock you down as a bad person forever because you have a bunch of piercings. But you know, past experiences dictate that everybody who has had these usually starts off very abrasive, mean, or angry. So I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, choose your words carefully. And then he was like, hey guys, what's going on? And I'm like, all right, you're chill, you're cool.
Yeah, so, I feel like that was a good old bait and switch. But yeah. I've been loving Windbreaker so far. I'm very excited that I was able to catch it because I didn't think about it at all. I was just like, oh, Windbreaker sound like a fart. Now I'm just like laughing to myself.
Like,
but
the little poster thing got me like looking at it, and I was like, oh, cool. This looks pretty good. So I was like, let me just put it on my list. I'm like, I got some time that I can add a couple more, and this looked like it was pretty promising. So I added it, and I was like, the first episode, I was like, yo, what the fuck? This is kind of sick.
Yeah, Windbreakers is fucking awesome, dude. But yeah, Windbreakers deserves to be in this S tier slot where we put it in there. We ain't even have to discuss it. You already knew that some bitch was going into S tiers. But if you guys have any different opinions from us, you guys can let us know down in the comments below on the YouTube channel. You can let us know with a review on your audio podcast service of your choice. Join the conversation and be here with us. Follow the podcast and the podcast services that you use. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help support the boys. Leave us a like, a comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And I hope you guys had fun as we did this fucking long ass tier list of our anime opinions of the anime.
This whole time we will try to make the next one shorter.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been a blast to do. But if you guys want to let us know about your opinions about the anime of the season that we ranked or anime that we missed out on that we should go back to and catch up, you can let us know in the comments below. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the 14th episode of the DNAnime Podcast. I have been a beautiful girl, almost forgot my own damn name. That's been Big Seal. We're going to catch you next week with another fun episode of the DNAnime Podcast. Thank you guys so much for all the support and keep in the conversation as well. We'll see you guys next time.